Okay, so I'm out of town right now, but I need you to write your body paragraphs. This example is on Google Classroom on the announcements, and I'm going to show you exactly what each part means. That way you know how to write your body paragraphs. First thing is first. Remember the body paragraph structure. It's color-coded here to match what's typed over here. That way you know exactly what you're looking at. We have the topic sentence. That should tell us what the body paragraph is about. You have your cited evidence. That is the evidence on your research note cards that you found online. You have explained meaning. That is one sentence that explains explicitly what does that quote mean. Then you have explained significance. Explaining significance is telling why that quote is important and how it actually is supportive. Then you have your concluding statement. This is the conclusion, just wrapping up your thoughts for the paragraph. And the transition. You will only have this transition in the first body paragraph because you're transitioning to the next body paragraph. So let's look how it is all together. So our first sentence, which is in red, is the topic sentence. So the topic sentence reads, one reason school should not start later and end later is because of scheduling issues for after-school extracurriculars. So that explicitly tells us what this paragraph is about. It's going to talk about how after-school extracurriculars and school scheduling is going to inhibit school starting later. The second part. So we have that. For example, Lisa Mason writes in her article, having a later school day would mean that any after-school activities would also end later. So that's the cited evidence. You have to introduce it with for example, and then you have to tell me who says it and where, and then you have to give the page number it's found on. If there is no page, then this becomes NP, non-paginated. So that right here, this quote, is on your research cards. You already have your evidence. After you state your evidence, the next sentence, the very next sentence, should explain more about what this means. So, in my quote says, having a later school day would mean any after-school activities would also end later. Then I say, this would mean that if a student's normal sports practice ended at 5, then with a later school day, it would end around 7 o'clock at night. So I just re-explain this in different words. I expand on it a little bit. After I explain what it means, I then explain the significance. So this is significant, a significant inconvenience because most households have dinner prior to this. Therefore, students should be getting home and eating dinner not until 8 at night. And then they would still have to stay up late to finish any homework they may have, which would cause them to get even less sleep if they were able to wake up later. So I tell why this is significant, why this causes a problem. I don't just restate what it says. I say this is a problem because, and then I go on to explain how it makes things worse for students, how this would cause things to be worse. And then I end my paragraph by saying, because of these after-school scheduling conflicts that could cause students to stay up even later and get less sleep than they are already getting, school should not start and end later. So I directly reference back up here the after-school scheduling conflicts. And I also say my statement, school should not end later. So that should be connected back to the topic sentence up here. It should sound similar. And then my transition, but that's not the only reason, because I'm going to talk about the next reason in my second body paragraph. I hope this helps. Your body paragraph should look like this when you are done. Not necessarily the color-codedness, but it should have the topic sentence, the cited evidence, the meaning explanation, the significance explanation, the concluding statement, and transition. All in all, your body paragraph can be no less than 6 sentences. It must be 6 sentences because it has these 6 things. If you have any questions, please email me.